War, that grand old pastime of nations, tribes, and peoples throughout history. A sordid dance of death and destruction, all dressed up in the finery of patriotism, honor, and duty. It's a spectacle that would be almost comical if it weren't so heart-wrenchingly tragic. Now, before the warmongers among you get your bayonets in a twist, let me clarify something. I'm not questioning the courage, sacrifice, or dedication of those who fight. What I'm lampooning is the absurdity of the very concept of war. This twisted logic turns killing into a noble pursuit and the destruction of lives, communities, and entire civilizations into a strategic goal. Take, for instance, the concept of a just war, a curious oxymoron if there ever was one. How does one reconcile the wholesale slaughter of fellow human beings with the notion of justice? It's a moral contortion worthy of a philosophical gymnast bending ethics and reason into unrecognizable shapes. And then there's the ever-popular notion of war as a last resort. A noble sentiment, to be sure, but one that's often trotted out after all other resorts have been given the most cursory and half-hearted attempts. Diplomacy, dialogue, and compromise are delicate arts, quickly brushed aside in the rush to arms. Why engage in tedious negotiations when you can simply drop bombs? Oh, but let's not forget the economics of war. An industry unto itself, it's a bonanza for arms manufacturers, contractors, and those who profit from the machinery of death. A bullet fired, a missile launched, a tank built. These are the cogs and wheels of an economy that feeds on conflict. War, in this perverse calculus, is not a disaster. It's a growth opportunity. And what of the aftermath? The broken bodies, shattered minds, and devastated landscapes that linger long after the guns have fallen silent. Those are mere footnotes in the grand narrative of victory and defeat, necessary sacrifices on the altar of national pride and geopolitical strategy. The absurdity of war is not just a philosophical musing, it's a human tragedy played out on a global stage. It's a cycle of violence, revenge, and destruction that feeds on itself, a self-perpetuating machine that knows no boundaries or morals. But here's the cruelest joke. We, the human race, the supposed pinnacle of evolution and intelligence, continue to engage in this ridiculous tragedy, despite knowing better. We glorify war, romanticize it, sanitize it, and then act surprised when it consumes us. Perhaps it's time to take a step back, to look at war through the clear lens of reason, empathy, and shared humanity. Maybe it's time to recognize the absurdity of settling differences through bloodshed and commit to the hard but necessary work of peace. It's a tall order, I know, absurdly optimistic, some might say. But then again, so is the notion that we can bomb, shoot, and kill our way to a better world. So here's to the absurdity of peace, a concept as elusive and improbable as a lasting ceasefire. It's a goal worth pursuing, a dream worth dreaming about, and a future worth fighting for, not with guns and bombs, but with wisdom, compassion, and the courage to imagine a world without war. How's that for an absurd idea? It might just be wild enough to work. Thank you for watching this delightful descent into the rabbit hole of human folly. If you found amusement in our shared absurdity or a glimmer of truth in the twisted maze of existence, then why not do something equally irrational and hit that like button? Should you wish to subscribe to this tragicomic journey, simply click subscribe and brace yourself for more biting satire, whimsical wisdom, and perhaps a few existential crises along the way. After all, in a world where logic is a rare commodity and sanity is overrated, what's one more subscription to a channel that revels in the chaos? Go on, embrace the madness. We're all mad here,